It's Friday, September 20th, 2024. Welcome to episode 121 of the Alameda Postcast, an audio service of the Alameda Post. I'm your host, Scott Peeler. In this edition of the Postcast, a lawsuit generates huge support for the Alameda Food Bank. City Council approves a pool plan for Gene Sweeney. Meet the school board candidates. The Portola Festival is back. From the Bayou to the Bay, another new restaurant to check out. Brian Wu struggles in Seattle, and a wealth of activities as we transition from summer to fall. These stories and more on this episode of the Alameda Postcast. Our top story: more than 100 supporters of the Alameda Food Bank turned out for a protest at the City Council meeting on the evening of Tuesday, September 17th, in response to the news that two citizens had filed a lawsuit that could delay or derail previously approved construction plans. Let's review the history of the proposed new facility. Back in episode 79 last November, we reported that the Planning Board approved a development plan for the food bank to move into larger quarters on Alameda Point's Pan Am Way, which included Building 607 and an adjacent parking lot. We'll come back to that parking lot. In March of this year, as reported in episode 93, the City Council approved the various real estate transactions required for the move. And in July, as noted in episode 113, the Planning Board approved a design review. Then earlier this week, as reported on AlamedaPost.com, a lawsuit was filed by Todd Hickman and Shelby Sheehan, challenging the City of Alameda's approval of a conditional use permit for the Alameda Food Bank under the California Environmental Quality Act. Hickman is the owner of Building 43 Winery, and Sheehan is a former city tenant who was evicted for non-payment of rent. In public statements, Hickman has repeatedly referred to the proposed site as, quote, a historic parking lot, end quote. But when the Alameda Post asked Alameda Planning Department Director Alan Tye if that was the case, he did not agree. Quote, there are no historic parking lots in Alameda. It's uncommon for parking lots to be considered historic, as they typically don't meet the criteria for historic significance, end quote. That sentiment was echoed by Alameda historian Dennis Evanosky. Speaking to the council, Hickman stated, quote, we fully support the food bank. We always have. We've been telling the food bank and the city for over a year that this was the wrong location, end quote. Hickman was the only speaker supporting the suit. While many speakers praised the work of the food bank, Natel Energy COO Gregory Cadman brought a different perspective. Cadman lamented how his company's construction project at Alameda Point was also being derailed by a CEQA lawsuit filed by the same plaintiffs. As reported in episode 106, Hickman spoke against the Natel project at council meeting in June. City Attorney Yibin Shen declared, quote, the lawsuit targeting the Alameda Food Bank is entirely without merit. The food bank project is supported by substantial environmental review and is situated in a location zoned for its purpose, end quote. Mayor Marilyn Ezzy Ashcraft closed the extended council meeting. Quote, I am responding to the many emails I'm getting from residents asking them to reach out to Mr. Hickman and to Ms. Sheehan and ask them to just dismiss the lawsuit. If you're such a fan of the food bank and you want it to continue, the key is in your hand. So just dismiss the lawsuit, end quote. The Alameda Post will continue to cover this story as it develops. For a complete account of the protest, see Adam Gillett's article at alamedapost.com/news. I would be remiss if I did not let you know that our own cartoonist Brees was definitely inspired by these events. Check out his latest in our opinions and editorials section. The council had other business Tuesday night, most notably the design of the upcoming aquatic center at Gene Sweeney Park. This is a project we've been discussing on the Postcast for almost 2 years, stretching all the way back to episode 25. Alameda Recreation and Parks Department staff explored two design concepts within its $30 million budget for the center: a 30-meter pool with an activity pool and a standalone 50-meter pool. As you know from this summer's games in Paris, 50 meters is a standard Olympic pool. Two public surveys favored the 30-meter pool plan by a 3-to-1 margin. Coincidentally, that was the same margin in favor of the 50-meter plan when looking at letters and comments submitted to the council meeting. Essentially, it comes down to a recreational facility versus a competition facility. Competitive swimmers would welcome a 50-meter pool, which currently does not exist in the Alameda system. City staff's recommendation was for the 30-meter option. Regardless of preference, all in attendance agreed that the optimal solution would be a 50-meter pool with an additional activity pool. But ARPD Director Justin Long pointed out that would result in over a 50% budget increase from $30 million to $46 million. Malia Vella, Tracy Jensen, and Mayor Ashcraft were in favor of the 30-meter option, while Vice Mayor Tony Desog and Councilmember Trish Herrera Spencer supported the 50-meter option. Also in the discussion, the electrification of the facility, which was not in the original budget, but city staff has identified additional funding sources, In the end, Councilmember Jensen's motion to approve option A, the 30-meter option with full electrification, passed 3-2. Vice Mayor Daysog and Councilmember Herrera Spencer voted no. Council also voted unanimously to continue the Slow Streets barricades until the neighborhood greenways are in place. A second motion to continue the program along Versailles, except at the intersection of Encinal, passed 4-1. The Encinal exception is to assist with parking and loading at Encinal Hardware. For a further look at the Council's deliberations, including artists' renditions of the proposed pool layouts, see Karen Jensen's article at alamedapost.com/news. 4 candidates are vying for 3 seats on the Alameda Unified School District Board: Joyce Boyd, Heather Little, Jennifer Williams, and Malia Hall. Ms. Hall qualified as a candidate on the last day of the extended nomination period, as reported in episode 116. The Post is committed to helping you make an informed vote come November. Adam Gillett profiles the candidates in his article at alamedapost.com/election. You'll find information and links for the campaigns of Ms. Boyd, Little, and Williams. As of airtime, Ms. Hall has not established a campaign website or responded to questions from the Post. Fall, the turning of the leaves, pumpkin spice everywhere, and of course, bass-heavy EDM bouncing across the bay. That's right, the Portola Festival is back on September 28th and 29th. For 2 years now, Alameda has received one heck of a lesson in acoustics. The Portola Festival at Pier 80 in San Francisco has sent sound waves across the bay and into Alameda neighborhoods. 2023 show was an improvement over 2022, but weather conditions wound up sharing Skrillex's Sunday set a little farther than intended. The festival's organizers, Golden Voice, has taken steps to mitigate the sound problem. For all of those steps, Liz Barrett has shared these efforts, as well as the email address for Golden Voice's community relations manager at alamedapost.com/news. And please, if you do hear loud bass music next weekend, don't call the Alameda police. There is literally nothing they can do about it. Nothing satisfies in the fall like a big old bowl of gumbo, and now you don't even have to leave the island to get one. You might have seen Southern Comfort Kitchen's food truck around town on occasion. The Brill brothers, Brett, Jason, and Jeremy, have set up shop permanently at 1708 Webster, the former Wiener Schnitzel location. You'll find traditional Bayou favorites like po' boys, jambalaya, seafood gumbo, and crawfish etouffee. The New Orleans cuisine they offer is based on recipes passed down from their grandparents, a mix of Creole, French, African-American, and Cajun. By the way, if you've ever wondered what is the difference between Creole and Cajun, oversimplifying a bit, Creole is city food, Cajun is more backcountry. This is the 3rd brick-and-mortar location for Southern Comfort after their Castro Valley and Pleasant Hill restaurants. Maybe the best news, Southern Comfort has a drive-thru that will be open until 11 o'clock on Fridays and Saturdays. Alameda could use a few more spots for a late-night bite. Take a look at the new digs with Gene Chen's article at alamedapost.com/features. Last week, I reported on Alameda's Brian Wu taking a perfect game into the 7th inning for Seattle. This week, different story is the Yankees touched him for 7 runs over 4 2/3 innings as they beat the Mariners 11-2, dropping Brian's record to 8-3 on the season. He'll look to right the ship Sunday in Texas against the Rangers. Saturday, the last day of summer. Sunday, we welcome in fall, and there's a ton of great activities to choose from this weekend. The last of this year's walking history tours are upon us. Explore Portola Avenue and Burbank Street with Dennis Evanosky and Adam Gillett, and learn about Skippy Peanut Butter, among other things, this Saturday or next Sunday. Details at alamedapost.com/tours. Amanda Laird's All Around Alameda column has some great suggestions, including the history of the famed World War II Enigma coding machine at the California Historical Radio Society tonight, Friday. Starlight Movies in the Park heads to Laydecker Park on Bay Farm Island tonight for last year's smash hit Barbie. And Brews, Blues, and Barbecue returns to Washington Park on Sunday. Find Amanda's column at alamedapost.com/features. Lots of other events to choose from at 94501.info. The Night Alive finishes its run at Altarena Playhouse this weekend. The Farmers Market, Saturday from 9 until 1. Saturday at 11 a.m., the National POW MIA Recognition Day ceremony at the USS Hornet. Round the World Festival at Chichenio Park on Saturday afternoon. Beer City Alameda, Sunday at Waterfront Park. Looking ahead to Tuesday, the Bay Area Job Fair at South Shore from 2 until 4. Again, 94501.info for a complete list of events in the area. Thank you for your support of local news for Alameda. To make a tax-deductible donation, head to alamedapost.com/memberships. Remember, find us on Facebook, Instagram, MSN, YouTube, Mastodon, Threads, Blue Sky, as well as our own subreddit. Don't forget to subscribe to us on Apple News. Find the Postcast wherever you get your podcasts, or simply tell your smart device to play the Alameda Postcast podcast. I'm Scott Peeler, back next Friday with episode 122 of the Alameda Postcast.